wadi is a dry creek bed, or if it's this wide, it's a dry riverbed. Now what happens in a wadi is that very rarely does water come this way. It's just as dry as dust. There are a few times, perhaps once a year, twice a year, perhaps every other year, when the water will roar through this place. It will come with a great crash. You see what happens on the higher land when it rains? The water, instead of soaking in the ground, begins to rush toward small crevices, and then the crevices become larger, and then they become canyons, and the water gains speed and it gains volume. And you know, tragically, even today, with all the modern warning systems, it's not uncommon to hear of someone losing his or her life because they were hiking in a wadi and they weren't aware that it was raining perhaps 15 miles away. But a wadi has one more unique characteristic. If you come to Israel, you'll find rock in every corner. Lots of rocks, more rocks than you can imagine. But if you'll notice, there's hardly any sand. But one place where there is sand, it's in the mouth of a wadi. As the water dissipates, it leaves the smallest of debris, the sand. Now here's the deal. Jesus one day told a parable, and he said, a foolish man builds his house on the sand. But Jesus warned them in the parable, the rains will come and the waters will rise, and your house will be destroyed with a mighty crash. A wise man, on the other hand, builds his house on the rock. Of course he does. All of Israel, that's all you've got to build on. And that's the place where you would put a house, not in a wadi. It would be tragic, it would be laughable to build a house here. The point Jesus was making, this parable that comes at the end of what we call the Sermon on the Mount, he said, whoever hears my words and puts them into practice is like a wise man who builds his house on the rock. But whoever hears my words and fails to put them into practice, you might as well build your house right here. Because one day, sooner or later, destruction is coming. My friend, that's a lesson for us to remember. Whatever we do, let's build our house on the solid rock. And the solid rock is Jesus Christ. Hear His words and put them into practice. I'm Andy Cook for the Christian Television Network.